Neighbors, welcome back. Today we're doing Jeyuk Bokkeum. Jeyuk Bokkeum is like spicy pork bulgogi, and there's a lot of recipes. I've tried a lot. I've tried my mom's, I've tried ours, but recipes is kind of like either going to a pizza shop or like a bakery shop. You think you found the best one, but next week your friend calls, you go and you're like, oh no, this one is the spot. So this new recipe that I tried, I love it. It's delicious. It's by a person named Cookpia. And what I love most about the recipe is it's very simple to memorize. If you're the type of person who thinks you can only cook ramen, remember, tu 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 tu, tu 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 tu, 8 twos. And I'll explain what that means now. Come on. For today's Jeyuk Bokkeum, we're gonna use two types of pork. One is samgyeopsal, that pork belly that we're very familiar with, 300 grams of this. So samgyeopsal, just like my belly, has some streaks of fat going through it, so a lot of flavor. We're gonna mix that with the same amount, 300 grams of apdarisal. That means the front leg portion of the pig. You'll definitely find this cut at the Korean market. We use this for pork bulgogi, so you'll see it. This one is cut thinner, combining this lean meat, bit chewy, with this fatty flavor is delicious. So 600 grams in total, around 2 or 3 centimeters across. Maybe better to stack them on top of each other, easier to cut. And then 300 grams of our apdarisal, they're stacked on top of each other. Likewise, cut them into thin strips and remember to separate them because we don't want to turn into one stacked meatball. That would not be good. Clump them into one big pile and wipe this down really quickly. Very simple. We're going to use half an onion, cut them thin, then a 4-arm piece of spring onion. You can cut them at a slight angle. And then we're gonna take this onion and spring onion and stir fry it in oil first. That way we fragrance the oil. Right, and now for the sauce called tu 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 tu. 2 tablespoons of gochugaru flakes. That's 1, and number 2. And then 2 tablespoons of gochujang.
Are you making the do 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 do?
Tu 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 tu. That's 2. 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. 2. And then 2 tablespoons of meshil. Do you remember meshil? That's the Korean plum. This is the extract syrup. This gives it a tartness while being slightly sweet. We add it to a lot of Korean barbecue marinades. To this, we're adding mirin. Let's do 2 tablespoons and 2 tablespoons of sugar. That's 1 and 2. Very good. Then we need some garlic. We got this garlic from my grandma in the countryside, and they're so firm. How many tablespoons? That's 1 and 2. And then this is Korean cheongyang chili pepper. This is the spicy one. You can also use jalapenos as a substitute. We want to get them into small pieces. Including these peppers are a must. This actually does a great job in reducing that porky smell. It grabs it. That's 1 and 2. Then we'll mix this up. Just by the looks of it, you know that this is going to be a pretty rockin', huh? And that's it. Just put everything in. Get in there with your hands so that every one of them gets coated. And it's going to turn a nice pinkish, orangish color. Give it a few squeezes and mix it around so that that marinade gets into every nook and cranny. We're going to give this 30 minutes to soak everything in. All right, and while you're at the Korean market, you can pick up a little packet of veggies. These are used for wraps. We have gatnip, which are perilla leaves. Before I got into cooking, one thing that always confused me at the Korean market, a lot of times they call this sesame leaf, but it's perilla leaf. Some Swiss chard, chicory, or in Korean, chicory. We just call this sangchu, but it's red leaf lettuce. So give this a quick wash. All right, and then there's a whole category in Korean cooking called 장아찌, or in some cases called jeorim. This one is called 명이나물, and since it's pickled, 명이jeorim. It's served as a banchan at barbecue houses here in Korea. Most of the Korean-style pickled vegetables, they have this sort of dark color. And this was the technique back in the days when you harvest in the spring or in the summer, and then you pickle it so that you can eat during winter. If you have a Korean mart nearby, I really want you to try this pickled vegetable. It's delicious. 명이나물, I was trying to find the English definition, but I might as well just show you the Wikipedia page. It actually, the leaves that we're eating is this ground part. It grows up in the mountains. I think it's a type of, it says Victoria onion. You see that's just that onion leaf that's been pickled in this flavored, slightly sweetened soy sauce. Let's give it a taste. Hopefully it's not too salty. Absolutely delicious. It's good, huh? Store-bought one is pretty good too, huh?
It's exactly like how it was at the restaurant.
Yeah, you did a good job.
맛있는데?
맛있어. All right, it's been 30 minutes and I am starving. Let's get this cooking. We're gonna put a little bit of oil to get the onions and spring onions started. Onions and spring onions in. Mix that around for just about a minute or until the onions start to sweat. Now you see the onions, they're starting to sweat. Time to add in our jeyuk, marinated jeyuk. Wow. And now that spiciness is gonna mix in with the sweet natural flavors of the onion and spring onions. And we're gonna have a party, y'all. All right, and there's really not much to this other than to just let it cook down and just all the flavors to come together. And once those pork pieces start to cook, they're gonna release their oil and it's gonna turn very flavorful and fragrant. Wow, and just neighbors, just take a look at how this is coming along. Just the color itself, it reminds me of something you'll see at like a hole-in-the-wall restaurant somewhere in Seoul. Beautiful. Just look at that, y'all. Right, to that, we can add a little bit of the ground up sesame seeds. Just adds a little bit of nuttiness. All right, and then neighbors, let me show you a close-up look. Oh my gosh. Let me give you a little virtual tour of what we're working with. Sheesh. This is one of the pork pieces here. This one's for you. How is it? I'm gonna go in for some pork belly. My favorite way, guys, you get some like that. Get off. Wrap it up. You get a little bit of tartness from this 명이나무 and
I think I can keep having this for all 3 meals.
진짜 맛있다. You can do this with or without rice, that's up to you. What I like about this is it's truly that restaurant style where it's not too spicy. Like I know some people who are just addicted to spice and if you cook towards for them, most people can't eat it. This is just perfect. Perfect balance. Balance, balance, balance. I hope you enjoyed that. The only question on mine is to eat it with rice or without rice. And if that's the only question on your mind, then you're living a good life. All right? 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2.